Hello, good evening, and welcome to tonight's webinar. Thank you again for joining in. I know you're all very busy, so really happy that you're here tonight. Tonight, we're talking about how to create more engaging content on social media. Now, this is something that's so important because we all want more fans, we all want more likes, more followers, more engagements, more sales, but the only way to get that is to create content that grabs people's attention and makes them take action. So tonight, that's what we're talking about. Once again, I'm your host, Sterling McKinley. This webinar is presented by the US Black Chambers and also the good folks at Grow with Google. So let's get started. All right, so like I said, tonight we're talking about how to create engaging content. And once again, that's so important because that's the only way that you could drive sales and drive engagement is by having content that pulls them in. And, we're talking about social media tonight, but this goes across social media, across digital marketing, your business. It's all about having creative content, engaging content. So whether that's your website, your business card, your flyers, your one sheet of your videos, everything you put out for your business as far as marketing goes needs to be engaging. So once again, these tips are for social media, but these same strategies can be applied to any form of marketing in any way that your business chooses to communicate. So once again, before we get started, I want to do a quick check-in to make sure that we're all here and ready to go. So if you are ready to learn how to create more engaging content, I want you to go in the chat box and I want you to type simply hashtag viral, and then we'll get started. So you're ready to get started, type hashtag viral in the chat box. We'll get started. And while you're typing viral, I'll talk about that some. So everybody wants to go viral. We hear on the news, the media, stars and celebrities, athletes go viral. And there is no formula to go viral. I believe you go viral by just understanding your audience more and more. And then one day you have a piece of content that gets picked up and that really goes far. So once again, if you want to have viral content, that's not always the goal, but the only way to do that is by having engaging content. So once again, if you're ready to get started, type in hashtag viral and we'll get started. Got one comment here. Thank you, Car. Viral. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's get started. So going back to the slides here. So tonight we're talking about really two basic things, and we only have an hour, so I'm going to try to do my best to get across what I'm talking about. So the first thing we're talking about tonight is how to create engaging content, and I already said that. So I'm going to go really into depth of how you can create that content, what things that people want to see that's really going to engage them, and I'll give you a lot of ideas to create that engaging content. Next thing we'll talk about is the type of content. So this is a really key point because there's so many ways to share your message on social media. There's videos, there's pictures, there's text, there's memes, there's all that stuff. So we're gonna go through all those types of content and give you some more ideas, some more strategies to post content to get more engagement. So I have a few more people checking in here. Thank you again. Viral. Another comment here says, hello and viral. Great. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right. So before I get started, I'm going to say this. I think having engaging content is all about getting to know your customers, and then you create content around their interests. I think this is so important, and we'll talk more about this tonight. But people spend so much time guessing what people want to see, what people want to like, and you can do that, but it's going to take time. But I think when you get to understand your customer, what drives them, what motivates them, then you know what content to create. So in this next section, we're going to talk about that, ways that you can get a better understanding of your customer. And hopefully you already have a understanding of your customer. Customers offline, what they buy, what they like, but to really have success in digital marketing and also social media marketing is about really getting a firm understanding of your customer. And I always say that I think people get turned off by social media, digital marketing, and say, "Oh, that stuff, it doesn't work," but it does work. But I think people get turned off because they're targeting the wrong people, and that's the one thing. If your targeting is off, nothing you do online or with social media is going to work. So once again, it's all about getting a focus, an understanding of your customer. What are their interests? What are their pressure points? What are their pain points? What excites them? What things they want to hear about? And once you know that, create content around those interests. So once again, let's say that you sell shoes, okay? Then you should have videos on your social media accounts about shoes for running, shoes for hiking, shoes for playing sports. You should have videos, you should have images talking about shoes. Why? Because your people want to buy shoes. So once again, create content around their interests. And that's the way to have them engage more and more with their brand. So I have a question for you all tonight. And can anybody tell me why you want to create engaging content? So in the chat box, just type in, why do you think creating engaging content is so important? Why is creating content that engaging so important? Just feel free to type that in the chat box and we'll talk about that. Okay, Carl, comment here. He says to gain and keep customers. Yeah, that's exactly. That's the reason we're on social media in the first place. That's the reason we're on digital marketing because we want to gain more customers. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about gaining and keeping customers. Does anybody else want to share why they think it's so important to create engaging content? Okay, well, I'll tell you why. A few reasons. So the first one that's so important is you can increase traffic not only to your website, but you also can increase traffic to your social media sites. We have a few comments here. I'm going to read those real quick. Someone says, so people comment and the algorithm pushes content out. Yeah, that's exactly it. Engaging content is great. You want people to interact with your content. And then once again, if you talk about the algorithms, how Facebook, Twitter work, all that stuff, your content is going to get shown more when you have more engagement. So the more comments, the more likes, the more retweets you have, whatever your post is, the more the network is going to show that post to more people, and then chances are that more people will engage with that post. So yeah, that's a great comment. I have one more here. People want to know what is happening and read engaging information. Yeah, I agree. I think when we scale it down, why do we go online? Yes, we want to be entertained, but we're looking for information. We have a question. We're looking at things that interest us. So yeah, I agree. People definitely want to be engaged and they want to know what's going on. Even that engagement is funny or comical, still you can be teaching, you can be educating through that content. So that's a great comment. So back to the slides. Some of the reasons here, of course, more clicks on your profile. Hopefully, they come to your website. Opt-ins. Let's say that you are trying to collect more email addresses. Having more engaging content, people will subscribe to your email newsletter. Conversions in sales, they kind of go in the same order. Once again, having that engaging content that engages me, that's educating, hopefully over time that will lead to a sale. Also more engaging content, more having more engaging content. You're gonna have more comments, more likes, more shares, more message, all those things that I just talked about. So you got it. That's really the key to having engaging content because that's what keeps the ball rolling. And once again, everything that you said was spot on, and everything that I said was also good. But thinking about your whole business, everything you do has to be engaging. It has to be targeted to your customer because what interaction leads to a sale? having somebody ask a question, have somebody look at something that is leading to something. So that's why you want to have social media, have engaging content. Once again, things that are boring, we just, we go by, we scroll, we keep on swiping, it was boring. But things that stop us, things that catch our attention, we read those. And then hopefully from reading that, we take an action. So you just don't want to be boring. I don't care what you're talking about. Find some way to be engaging. And I think the one thing too that a lot of people fall in is that they try to always be funny and try to be witty and all that stuff. And there's some topics that are boring or not fun necessarily. So let's say you're a doctor, talking about diseases, illnesses, that's not fun stuff. But once again, if you can inform me, that can be engaging. So, because let's say I have some condition, I come to your page, you have information about that, information about treatments. That's engaging for me. It doesn't have to be exciting necessarily or funny, but something that's informing me about a problem I have, just that can be engaging. Let's say um, somebody has problems with the IRS. Fine, you make a video talking about how you can dispute IRS claims and you can get their amount of money that they had to pay back down. That's engaging because you're talking about, hey, I can help you. This is what I can do. Here are the steps. So once again, engaging is not always has to be exciting or fun. Engaging can simply be just informing your customer about whatever the thing they're looking for. Carl had a question here. Does producing content follow the 80-20 rule? Yeah, I agree. And we'll talk more about that later. So um, the 80-20 rule is pretty much saying that 80% of the content you post should be about your customer and their problem. And then 20% of that content should be promotional about your sale, your service. And I agree because once again, we're not selling online. And I believe in many ways, the new form of selling is educating. If you can educate me about your product, your service, that's going to lead me to buy a sell. Instead of saying, oh, it's sell, 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 that pushes me away. But yeah, Carl, what you said was really great. That 80-20 rule is something to keep in mind. There's so many times when I go to a paid social media and I swear every post is an ad about a sale or about a special they're having, and that turns us off. That page is like a billboard. We don't want to look at billboards. We want to have engaging content post the end. So once again, that going back to creating content around their interests. So you don't have to sell if you're creating content around their interests. You can just have a video talking about the problem that you solve with a solution. No self pitch. Hey, you have a problem? This is what I do to solve that. So definitely keeping that 80-20 rule because you don't want to have a page that's so heavy where every ad or every other post is a promotion. You want to share more information because information is really the way that you're going to pull somebody in. Yes, agree. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, 80-20 rule is a great thing to have. I mean, 80-20, I mean, even in conversation, I talk about getting to know your customers. So I'm finding now in my business that I listen a lot more. It used to be when I went to a client and meet with them, I had my laptop open. I was being all busy and typing stuff down. But no, now I close my laptop and I listen. So I think the 80-20 rule too can go a lot of ways. It's about listening more. Listen to what your customers want. Listen to what they're saying because your customers are telling you what they want. And I think the hallmark of a good business, a business that listens to the customer and knows what they want. And then you're listening so much that you can anticipate what they want. So it's very key to have that 80-20 rule. So thank you, Carl, again for that comment. Okay, so the question I always get is what kind of content should I post on my social media accounts? Everybody always asks me that. What can I post? Pictures, videos, memes, whatever. What can I post? And there's no concrete answer on what you should post because it really depends on your analytics. So this is a snapshot here of Facebook analytics, and it's breaking down how all their posts went. One post here got 8,000 views, 22,000 views, one got 309 engagements, and so on. But what this does is it tells you what content is working with your customers. So this is Facebook, but inside every social media platform, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, anything, they all have a section called analytics. So if you look at your account or just Google analytics in Twitter or Instagram, it'll tell you where it is, but it's pretty easy to find. Normally, if you click on your like account tab or your settings tab, it'll have analytics. So this is so key because once again, I believe that we should be guessing less in our business and going off the data. So if you've been posting content and you're not sure what's working, look at your analytics. The content that has more engagements, the content that has more shares, excuse me, is probably working more. So once again, the numbers are telling you what's working and what's not working. So once again, look at your analytics. It's going to tell you what's working and not working. Let's say you're spending so much time posting videos, and you think they're great, they think they're working, but you look at your numbers and you see that we're getting low watch time on our videos. But you notice that when you post a picture, you're getting very high watch time. So once again, you look at those numbers and you change that. So know what? Instead of doing so many videos now, you do less videos and more pictures. So once again, the numbers are going to tell you where to go. So you shouldn't always be guessing on what to post, on what topics to post, what type of posts. Looking at your numbers to give you real kind of direction as where your post should be going. Any questions? Like I said, feel free to ask a question anytime during tonight's webinar. But once again, this is all about you. I want to help your business grow. So any question about social media, about creating more engaging content, now is the time to ask that question. So feel free to type in the chat box any question you have about social media, because once again, it's all about making sure that I answer your questions and that you have a greater understanding of social media. So feel free to type in those questions anytime. The more questions, the better. Okay, one other thing you can do is you can ask your audience what topics they want to hear about. And this is example here of Twitter. This is a poll. You can do polls now on Facebook, LinkedIn, all these sites where you can ask questions to your audience. So this one is just saying, what sort of content you want to see more of. And, as industry news, education, life hacks, and marketing skills. And you can see that education post won. So once again, asking your customers is so key. And even if you're not asking on social media, ask your customers in real life, in person, what things they want to hear about, what things they want to talk about. So once again, we can guess all day, or we can just simply ask people what kind of content they want to hear more about, and then create more content around those areas. So once again, going back to this post right here, you can see this. People voted. They got almost 500 votes, and people said 41% want more social media education. So once again, simply asking people what they want, and then creating that is really easy way to have more engaging content. I have a question here from Culture Power TV. They say they ask how to select the right social media platform for your business. Yeah, that's a great question. We'll get more into that later. But I think a couple of things. So first, you want to identify who your customer is, and you want to find out what network your customer is on. And you can do it by a few ways. You can do that by once again visiting your competition. So find that market leader in your field and see what sites they're on. And if they're getting a lot of engagement on Twitter or say LinkedIn, maybe you should be in those platforms. So I think one of the easiest ways if you don't know is look at the competition, look at what the market leader is doing, and don't copy them, but say, hey, if they're on this network and they're getting a lot of engagement, maybe I need to be on this network as well. So I think that's definitely a good way uh, to go about it. Just doing that research. And I think also too, just having a firm idea of who your customer is. Because once you know who your customer is, you can find out what networks they're going on. So really, I would say starting off, looking at your competition and finding out what networks they're on, see what ones are getting the most traction, and then build those networks. One more question here from Carl. And he says, launching my business now, posting a 30-second video on Facebook about my travel company, Envision Travel Group. Should I target all 50 states to see where most clients are, or should I narrow it down? Yeah, great question, Carl. I would say you want to definitely narrow it down. And I think that's one of the things I was saying earlier about not just knowing your customer, but knowing where your customer is located. So if you're trying to target all 50 states, you're probably going to pay more for the ad because, once again, that's a very wide, you're getting everybody. So if you can kind of figure out where the majority of customers are, target those states. Or if you can figure out, hey, people that live, there's probably travel information. People that live in Maine visit XYZ state more. Then you can kind of target your ads more, but you definitely want to target. Having broad ads and broad content doesn't work. And it's kind of counterproductive. We think social media, we want, 1 million followers and 1 million likes and comments, but that's not always practical. It's really practical to really segment your offering and your customer base. Because if not, you're gonna waste a lot of money. Carl says his budget is also $500. So yeah, it's a good budget to start off with. But once again, you would get better results from your budget if you target your customer by location, age, and interest, those things. But running general ads, you're going to see a lot of just clicks on your ads and people not following through. Why? Because they're not interested. So targeting all states is probably not good. Figure out what states that you want to target. Targeting all ages is not good because somebody that's 14 or 15 is probably not going to go on the trip. So even finding that age range you target is really important. So let's say you're targeting people that are age 35 through 45. Okay, then you kind of know who you're targeting. So targeting it is key. And I think the social media accounts, profiles, ads that really work are targeted. They're not, just trying to attract everybody. So definitely find that target and target that person, and your ads could do better that way. Once again, if you go a really broad ad, you're going to waste a lot of money targeting the wrong people. So great question. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is being original. And I kind of touched on this earlier, but once again, you have to stand out online. And by standing out, I don't mean, dancing or singing or always being funny, but you have to give the person a reason to stop and to view your content. So if your content looks, sounds like everybody else's content, it's probably not going to get the results you want. Having content that is unique, that's original, goes a long way. So that's very important. Having content that's just original. So I always say you don't want to copy people. You can look at your competitors and see what they're doing, and you can tie some of that in to your campaigns. But being original is so key because nobody wants to go to a vanilla company. You want to stand out. You want to be different. So one of the things I recommend is finding that one thing that makes your business different from the other business, from your competition. That one thing you do differently, and then finding a way to show that over and over again. Because once again, people don't want the same company. The only way you go stand out when somebody's scrolling on their phone is by being different. So you definitely want to be different and be original when posting on your social media accounts. The next thing I want to talk about is producing actionable content. And what I mean by that is excuse me, Post with a reason. You want people to do something. You want them to like, you want them to comment, you want them to share, you want them to send you an email address, do something. So when you're posting, just don't make a post. Make a post that's engaging, that's asking them to do something, take an action, because once again, that's very important. So that could be asking a question, that could be asking them to take a poll or a survey, fill something out. But once again, great content is actionable. Once again, having that boring, stale content is not engaging, is not going to work. So you definitely want to find ways to make people take an action when they're looking at social media accounts. The next tip I have for you is tell a story. And this is so important. I'm giving a talk about this on Thursday, and telling a story is so key. So I think sometimes we get so carried away with having this nicely polished social media post, but people want to hear stories. Stories, go back to our childhood when we were all kids, and our parents or guardians, whatever, were reading us stories. Stories pulled us in. So, I say people don't remember facts, stats, or figures, but they remember stories. So, if you can find ways to tell stories online, that's going to be easier. And also, I think telling stories that are long term. So on my pages, I talk about social media. I talk about video, email, social media, digital marketing, all that stuff. But I'm telling a story constantly about that. So, whatever your business is, find something about that and make it into a story. I think about Carl having a travel company. What's your story? Because a lot of companies are in the travel business, but what's your story? Why do you get into it? Why is travel so important? What are the benefits of traveling? Tell that story, because sometimes it's not so much about the product or service, but it's about the story. I think about luxury brands. I think about, Mercedes Benz or other nice things. Sometimes it's about the story. You get when you get into a nice luxury car. Yes, it drives nice and it sounds nice, but it's the story behind that. And I think also having a compelling story, it raises the value of your product or service to your customer. I think BMW's slogan is the most. I'm going to blank the most advanced driving machine in the world, something like that. But once again, telling a story, I believe it connects with someone on a different level. It's not selling; it's more of telling, and hopefully, you're telling a story that also includes their interests and it pulls them in even more. So, telling a story is really key. I have a question here from Carl. He says, "Do people automatically share, or do we suggest that they share a post?" Good question. I think people share a post when a post really connects with them. If they find it funny or entertaining or educational, they'll definitely share it to other people. So I wouldn't always put share in your post, but yeah, from time to time, put hey share, or put comment below if you can, or what are your thoughts? Asking those questions, I think really helps. So yeah, I think there's ways that you kind of spark that, but I think when somebody shares content, that's how you created the right piece, because that means that content, it connected them so much they're sharing that, and chances are is they know somebody that has the same interest, the same problem, and they want to share it to that person. So you don't always want to ask, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with time to time asking for a like, asking for a share or a comment, because once again, asking for that engagement is really key. And I think it goes back to what I just said about creating actionable content. you know, People sometimes need to be told what to do. If you don't tell them to like, comment, or share, ask a question, they may just see it and keep scrolling. So, yeah, it is important from time to time to make content actionable. Let them know what step you want to take them. Let them know what step you want them to take next. So, yeah, I agree. That's a great comment. Oh, all right. So I bought this thing. It's called a Stream Deck. But anyway, I can this I control my slides and I can play sound. So I uploaded sound yesterday to it. It's a clapping sound. So I'm gonna play for you. Let me know if you can hear it. It should be somebody clapping. You hear that? I always forget, but what I want to do anytime I get a good question or good comment like Carl has, to hit that clap button. So I'll do one more clap for Carl. Let me know, Carl, if you can hear this clapping sound. You can, okay. All right, great. So yeah, I'm trying to get more sounds in here. I'll have more sounds for you all next webinar. um, One more question from Carl. How long in terms of minutes should a video be? Great question. So once again, there's no set time frame. Um, Social media, I think shorter sometimes works. So 30 seconds to a minute is always a good time. Also, too, if you have a long video, you can share it different ways. So you can make that video into a 50-second clip and put that on your stories, and that's only 15 seconds. So you can find different ways to use that video. So there's no necessarily number, but definitely I would say 30 seconds to a minute is kind of that sweet spot. But the funny thing is that if the video is engaging and answers the question, people don't care. They'll watch for 5-10 minutes. But I'll say definitely normally that 30 seconds to maybe max 90 seconds is a good spot for video. Um, and once again, tip for video, if you are using video, try to have captions on the screen, because most people that view video, social media, they're at work, they're at home, whatever, and the sound is not always on. So if you're having a video and you want to make it more engaging, have captions, I'm sorry, at the end um, of your videos, and that's the way. So let me share a link real quick. This is a service I use to transcribe video, and you can have the video that way. It can be pasted into your videos. So this is a service I use. They're pretty cheap. It costs $1 per minute. So if you're having a video of a minute, you only pay $1. But then you can take this text. You can have the text. As you speak, it can be speaking with you. So this is the site here for that. It's called Rev. Great service. Very low cost. But once again, having captions in your videos is a way to get more engagement as well. So great question, Carl. All right, so let's do this. Let's check in if I'm making sense. If you're finding this helpful, do me a favor and hit the like button. Hit the like button, hit the share button, or just type in the comments yes. Because just like I said, with social media, this has to be actionable. So I want to get feedback on how I'm doing. If I'm doing good, just like this for me, or just type yes in the comment box. Once again, you find this helpful, press the like button for me, because likes are always good. Have a few yeses in here. All right. Appreciate that. But yeah, even what I just did was as an example. You know, I'm sure you all hopefully are enjoying this webinar. But sometimes if I don't ask, you won't think to do it. So, kind of like Carl said, from time to time, you want to check in with your followers and fans and say, "Hey, let me hear back from you." Because once again, social media at its root is all about that two-way communication. It's not about making a post and leaving it there. It's about making a post and then having your fans or follower leaves comments, and then you engage in those comments to go back and forth. That's really the beauty, and that's really the point of social media. So yeah, from time to time, you definitely want to check in with your fans and followers to make sure that they're engaged with your content. All right, moving on to types of content. And I said this earlier, but there's so many ways you can share content on social media. So in this section, we're gonna go over some of the different types of content you can share, because I think sometimes in business we can all get um, that social media block. We don't know what to share, but hopefully this gives you some more ideas of types of content you can share on social media to get more engagement. All right, so the first one is entertainment, and like I said earlier, it's hard to always be entertaining, but being entertaining is a great way to get more interaction on your post. So, right here, this is a post from Chick-fil-A. I believe one of their customers made this up for their birthday party. They had a Chick-fil-A themed birthday party. Oh, and that's something entertaining. And the person made this post, put it online. They tagged Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A saw it, and Chick-fil-A is now having that on their social media page. So that is an entertaining, funny post. But I'll give you some examples here. So, fun holidays. Think about Christmas. Think about New Year's. Any holiday can be entertaining. You can create a post around that. Memes. Memes are a great way to be entertaining. So, memes, if you don't know, just simply pictures that have funny comments or quotes on there. A lot of times, you can find memes that have a lot to do with your target audience. And let me drop a link in the comment here. This is to a site where you can download different memes and GIF files to help you be more engaging. This site right here I use a lot when I present because it's a great way to kind of have more engagement. This is the site right here. And drop it in the chat box for you. And I'll show you an example real quick. Hold on, let me get this set up. So yeah, this site I use here, and you see they have all kind of gifts and different kind of memes. You can type in what you want. So you could type in travel, and you can find travel memes. Um, so there are memes about traveling. This is the airplane here. See somebody walking with a purse. You see the Muppets and so on. But there's definitely you want to find ways to use memes sometimes. Because memes are kind of funny. You don't have to create the memes that kind of are created for you. You're just choosing the ones that have to deal with your customers. So once again, I'll put that link in the chat box. So once again, this is a great way to kind of get pre-made memes and different GIF files for your business. But I will say you should use memes sparingly. There's some profiles that go overboard, and every day there's a funny meme. So, try to not have a meme every day. The next thing is jokes. So jokes, be careful. If you make a joke, joke on yourself because making the wrong joke gets you in trouble. So be careful about what memes and jokes you share because you don't want to offend anybody. The next thing you can share is a throwback. So we all know about Throwback Thursday. Every Thursday you share a picture of when you were in school, when you were a kid, when you first started your business. That's a good way, or something nostalgic. It could be something from your childhood that everybody can identify with. So you can post something about Star Wars or post something about the phone book, something nostalgic. Also, you can have contests and giveaways. You can ask the person that comments first to answer this question that leads the first comment. They win some kind of prize. Also, you can have different kind of puzzles or comics. So those are ways you can kind of create more of that entertaining content. And once again, we'll talk more about different strategies, but entertaining content is definitely something that you want to do. You don't want to be all fun and games. You want to definitely, still be serious, still be personal, but every once in a while, you want to throw in an engaging post into your social media. So let's go back to the slide here. The next one is inspirational. And this is something that, once again, you can mix in. So this got big a few years ago. Everybody started posting quotes every day from Malcolm X, from MLK, from Gandhi, anybody. And it's still kind of popular. But if you can find a quote that's inspirational, that has something to do, hopefully with your target audience, that's always great to post. And inspirational normally does quotes. They're a quote on an image, or it may be just a text post. So you don't even have an image; you just have a quote. So quotes are inspirational, trivia or facts. So by that I mean you can have posts. Did you know that the average American travels 20 times in their lifetime? I don't know. Those are kind of things. Nice images. People love looking at landscapes, at the ocean, things like that are good. And also, too, personal stories are really good to have. So, one thing I do a lot on LinkedIn, especially, is share my personal story. You'd be amazed how many comments and engagement you get from sharing your personal story. So, it can be a struggle. I tell my struggle a lot. I had with school, my struggle I had with business, and how I persevered. I'm here today. Sharing a struggle sometimes is very good because people can identify with that. They say, "Hey, I went through this and this challenge. I made it too," or "Hey, I know somebody that went through this challenge," and it's good to see somebody that made it. So once again, sharing your personal stories, those failures, and those success stories, they make you more personal. And I want to say too is they shouldn't be all highlights. Some people are always smiling on social media and always laughing, but every once in a while, share, "Hey, this is how I feel today. This is not a good day. I'm down today. This is a challenge I had." People want to see that, but why? Because that makes you real. If you're always smiling and happy, people say that's not real. They want to see the real you. So, be sure to share the good and also the bad as well. Any questions about what I just covered about um, entertaining post or inspirational post? If so, once again, feel free to drop those questions in the chat box, and I'll be sure to answer those. Okay, moving on to the next type, it would be conversations. So this is so key because, like we said earlier, you want to spark that conversation because social media, once again, is two-way conversation, just like this webinar. I'm asking you questions and I'm responding to your questions. That's social media. It has to be that back and forth. So I'll show you an example here. So once again, this is from Chick-fil-A, and they shared a post that says, "We love to hear your light, and we love to help you light a spark in your next virtual event with our backgrounds found below. Uh, click right click image, save, upload, instant Christian magic." So that was cool. They had these backgrounds and they were saying that you can click on this image, you can save it, and then use it on your background on Zoom or whatever platform. And once again, it's starting that engagement. So you're asking them to do something, but you're not asking them to make a sell, to buy something. You're saying, "Hey, we have these backgrounds, maybe use them." So once again, that's now also that's that free content and that community as well. So that's one thing that gets lost in social media is a lot. We think it's all about comments, all about likes and shares, but at the end of the day, social media is about building a community of people that have the same likes and interests. So whatever your business is, whatever you do, I would say focus on building that community. And if you can find a small number, you could find 50, 100 people that have the like interests and have community, you'll grow that way. So once again, community, when the community does it, a community grows together, a community shares. So once again, that back and forth information is so key to building that conversation. So ways of having a conversation are simply asking a question, asking them, "Hey, what are you doing today? What things you want to see? What is a challenge you had?" Asking a question, now open-ended question, not asking a yes or no question, like, "Do you like the fall or the winter?" That's simple. That's a closed question. Ask open-ended questions that go to spark more conversations. The next thing is having a poll, and I showed that earlier. So on most social media platforms, you can have polling questions where you can ask them a question, and you can have 3 or 4 answers, and they can vote on which answer most benefits them. So having a poll is key. The next thing is fill in the blank. So depending on what it is, you can start a song lyric, anything. and you can have them say, "Hey, can you fill in the blank to this song or this saying?" Um, the next one is caption this photo, and you see this a lot now. People put up a funny picture or a picture that's engaging, and they say caption this. So if you had to caption, um, let's try this. So in the comment box, if you had to caption this webinar, what would it be? So in a few words, just type in the chat box. If you had to caption this webinar in a few words, what would it be? Once again, just type in chat box. If you had to caption this webinar, sum it up in a few words, what would that be? Just type that in the chat box. And then we'll talk about it. Be nice. uh, yeah, just type in if you had to caption this webinar in a few words, what would it be to you? You must be typing very long captions. All right, I would have a few more seconds and I'll move on to the next slide. But if you had to caption this webinar in a few words, what would it be? All right, we'll move on. If anybody types anything, I'll be sure to read your comment. Okay, we got one here from Culture Power TV, and they say 10 ways to grow your social media brand online. Great caption. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you. So once again, this is kind of fun, easy ways to get your audience involved. It could be a picture of you in the morning with your hair not done, or it could be you looking frustrated at a computer. It could be anything. Once again, these are kind of creative, easy ways to kind of build that engagement. Um, One here from Carl. It says best practices of connecting with your target audience. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, those are examples of captions. And once again, that's a really easy way to create that engagement. Because once again, it's that community effect. You're just not telling them, you're asking them for their feedback. And a lot of times people turn that caption to a contest. So it will say best caption wins whatever prize that is. So once again, that caption sometimes turns to a contest. So like best caption wins. Best caption gets reposted on our page tomorrow. So captions are a great way to have conversation. The next one would be education. And I said this earlier, entertaining is cool, inspiration is cool, conversation is great, but at the end of the day, I think one of the most powerful forms of social media is education. If you can teach somebody something that has to do with their interests, that is so key. So this post here I have on the screen is from Instagram, and it's about 5 things to know before the child tax credit checks arrive this month. So that's a very timely post because I think they came out the 15th, I think. Um, but yeah, so this is getting some tips and facts about that. Once again, is this entertaining? Is this super complex or flashy? No. But once again, if I'm wondering, what to do with my child tax credit, and I see this post, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to read that video. I'm going to learn more about it. So that's why education is so key, because with education, you're selling without selling. And I think now we're in this stage that we're telling. We're not necessarily selling per se. We're telling you things that can help you. And from that telling, you trust me, you see me as an authority, and hopefully then you decide to do business with me. And then two, I believe if you teach me first, educate me first, have me trust you. So then when you ask for the sell, it's easy. So once again, if you start off talking about sell, 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 it's going to be tough. But if you start off teaching, educating, then when it's time to ask for the sell, it's going to be a lot easier. So some more tips are linking to your blog posts are very good. So you can do it on LinkedIn or Facebook, link to a blog post that talks more about this. Once again, tips and tricks. That can be 5 or 6. It doesn't have to be too long, but ways to maximize whatever it is. Industry research. So, did you know? Whatever, something about travel, something about your career or field. A free resource. Once again, it can be a infographic. It can be a PDF. It can be a download. Some kind of report or guide that has to do with what I'm looking for. So, if it was my account, I might share a free resource, a PDF infographic on social media. Why? Because the people that come to my page want to learn more about social media. This piece of content can help you do that. The next thing is case studies are great. So on social media, you have to be kind of cautious how you do that. You don't want to be too long, but sharing the problem somebody had and how you help them solve it. Once again, that's advertising without advertising because you're just sharing, hey, I worked with this person that has this problem. They worked with me, we did XYZ, and here are the results. And then the last one is live training videos. So I think one of the best ways now to engage is like we're doing now. This is live. This is not recorded. I'm engaging you in real time. I'm clicking. I'm showing you videos, pictures. This is engaging. And as human beings, we're pulled more into live content. When something is recorded, you can stop, pause it, come back. But when something is live, you're on the edge of your seat. You're pulled in. You're hearing that. So if you can on social media, definitely use Facebook Live, Instagram Live, LinkedIn Live. Those are great. Having those live videos where you can interact with your audience and ask questions. Also, doing lives and stories is really good as well. And I'll say one thing about lives is um, even if you have one person, just do it because eventually it's going to work. And I'll say if you go live, make sure that you announce going live before you go live because people don't know. So like the start of this webinar, I have like a 5-minute countdown. That could be simply you posting something on your page that says, "Hey, we're going live in 5 minutes," or have a schedule. So this webinar that you're on now happens every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. So to tune in those times. So if you're going to do live, obviously definitely try to be engaging, have a conversation, and also let people know in advance when that live conversation is happening. That's going to be very key. Any questions or comments about anything I said? Okay, moving on to our last one here is promotions. And I talked about this earlier, and I was saying that you don't always want to be saying buy, 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 because that's going to turn people off. So going back to what Carl said, having that 80-20 rule. So if you have 10 posts, 8 of those posts should be entertainment, inspirational, conversational, education, and so on. And then only 2 of those posts should be promotions. Should be you selling something about your company and your service. So this is a post here from Ben Chili Bowl, and this post was about Father's Day. And the deal was I think you can get a 20 half small hot dogs, and then you get uh, banana pudding as well. So that's the offer. A strange combination, but I guess hot dogs and banana pudding tastes good. But that's what they have, and some more ways or freebies. Like I said before, if you can say, "Hey, sign up in our email for 10% off," that's a great way to have signups. Webinars like we're on now. I'm not selling today, but there are webinars where people sell their products and their services. Um, Also, client testimonials are huge on social media. So you can say all day how great your company is, but when I hear another person say that, it goes up. So having a picture, a video, a customer talking, or even just text means so much to your users. And on social media, this is huge too because going into uh, Google My Business or Yelp, these sites are all about reviews. So when I'm searching for a company, I'm reading those reviews. So once again, reviews, they're promotion, but they're really not. They're way just telling how good your service is. And once again, a review from a customer means so much more because once again, it's coming from a company. Might be fake, might be paid, but coming from a customer, I take that as real, as true, and I'm going to listen to that testimonial. The next thing is discount. So once again, you're having a sale or buy one get one half one off. You definitely want to use that in your promotion. Let's see, we have a comment here from Carl. It says, when going live, should we display our logo? Good question. It really depends. If you're doing a live on Instagram, it's kind of hard for your logo. What I'm doing tonight is a webinar, so I have a lot of text logos on the screen, but I don't think you have to. I think a live is just about being personal, about being engaging. So I won't worry too much about the logo. If you want, you can have a logo or a picture in the background, or maybe a logo on your shirt. But I think for live, you just want to be engaging. You just want to be real, because that's the most important. Is that real content, and also a live too. People love seeing that behind the scenes content. you know, Whatever you do, people are fascinated about what you do. They want to see what goes in to making that. So if you do a live, Carl, about travel and about how to book travel or how to, have travel insurance, you can do a live about that. You don't have to show your logo, but once again, seeing you talking about that, and if you have questions, answering those questions, I think it's so key. So definitely don't need to have a logo on your lives, but just try to be really engaging and make sure you answer those questions as well. So once again, we're going to wrap up. If you found this helpful, just hit the like button, type yes in the comments if you found this helpful and engaging. Hope you have. But yeah, we'll be back again on Thursday at 5 p.m. once again for our next social media webinar. So be sure to tune in for that. Be another hour just talking about social media and how you use social media to grow your business. And I'll say this too: if you know anybody, any fellow business owner that needs help with social media, digital marketing, be sure to share this webinar with them. Say, hey, tune in Tuesday or Thursday to this webinar, and learn more about your business. Once again, it's all about sharing. So, once again, if you have somebody that may be interested in what I'm talking about, feel free to share this webinar with them. I have a few comments here. Thank you for that. Yes, Coach Pride TV. Got hand claps. Great. I'll use my clapping sound again. um, so thank you. I'm going to wrap up real quick. So recap, once again, the way to create more engaging content on social media is all about getting to know your customer. Find out what their problem is, what their issue is, and how you can solve that. And then once again, when you find out their interests, when you find out what they like and dislike, create content around that. It's simple as that, getting to know your customer and creating content around their interests and around their likes. And if you do that, you're gonna get more engagement. You're gonna get more likes, more followers, more shares, and so on. So once again, have a real understanding of your customer and create content around what they want to know about or hear about. Once again, any questions, feel free to send those to programs@usblackchambers.org. Also, for more webinars, virtual trainings, you can visit uschambers.org/webinars for this training and other trainings. Also, if you came in late or you missed something, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, this webinar has been recorded. So when it's done, you can play it back again and hear everything I said. So once again, you miss anything, this is being recorded and it'll be replay up pretty soon after we're done with the webinar. So once again, thank you for your time. Hope it was helpful. And once again, we'll be back here on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And once again, if you know anybody that could benefit from this webinar, please be sure to share this with them. So once again, thanks for your time and have a good night.